People with SOS way hotter than you, congrats. And what is your story? I married up for sure. She's a smart, kind, and PhD in electrical engineering from Stanford hottie who shouldn't be with me. I'm balding, fat, and make less money than her. How did I land this dream? I charmed her and was there for her during a lot of difficult times. And I make her laugh. Make her laugh, guys. She's got enough stress going on. Give her some joy. This. Make her laugh. Be there for her. Don't cheat. That's it. Source. I'm female. Our boss set us up. And I mean hardcore set us up. The first date we went on was because he gave me a gift card for Applebee's and then told me I should take her with me. As I was standing there, he had the secretary pull her into the office as well and asked if she was busy that weekend. And I am standing there with a gift card in my hand. 2 years later we got married and the whole office showed up. No one meddles quite like school bus drivers. He says I'm the attractive one, but I seriously disagree. Anyway, we met at work. Apparently being shy came across as mysterious and cool, and by some miracle, turned out she liked my actual personality even more than that. She thinks I'm the attractive one, but literally every time we go out to a work party or other occasion with people we know, she gets wow, if I were a lesbian right now. It's almost silly how many times she gets that comment from other women. In contrast, I never get man if I were gay. We were both hot when we started dating in high school. I didn't age super well, graying hair, beard gut hair growing where it didn't used to, etc. But she looks as hot as she did in high school. By now it's too late. Dumby fell in love with me. LMAO, I tricked her, but she's not a Dumby, she is the most wonderful woman in the world. That was joke. This is it, boys. Trick them while they're young. She genuinely does not get physical attraction in that way, and I'm not that scruffy to not pass that low bar, so she goes entirely by personality. I still don't know why she's with me. Cause you're a prize man. That's why. He was going through a lot of really bad crap in his life, and every girl that wanted to get with him was driven by looks, musical talent. I was just trying to be his friend, and apparently that did it. Continued to be super supportive and kind. Us generally trying to make him happy because I felt he deserved it. We've been together 4 years now and got married in February. TLDR. Being nice gets you a really long way. I shot my shot. You'll be amazed at how low the bar is for dudes and dating. If you're over 30, employed, sane, and capable of treating a woman like a human, a lot of them will start throwing elbows to get to you. Oh man. Throw in living on his own and can cook at least one basic meal, and it's like a fantasy novel. When we got married, he was a 30-year geeky guy with the best sense of humor I'd ever seen. I was a fox, by 80s standards. 30 years later, he has aged magnificently. Me not so much, but we still laugh more than any other couple I know. Same story here. I am so grateful I chose my partner based on compatibility instead of looks, and that he's staying with me for the same reason now that my looks have faded and he's become a silver fox. He doesn't realize how attractive he is. I'm not ugly, but he's way out of my league. He takes care of himself and is very sweet. I embarrassed myself by blurting out how hot he was in front of a room full of people. It worked though. We've been together 7 years. I moved to her country and have an accent she likes. That's the only thing I can think of that made her interested initially. Holy crap, LMAO. I didn't know he would turn out to look like this. When we met at 19, he was barely 100 pounds, pale with purple hair and a killer sense of humor. I was the female Mexican version of him and we slunk around town together. Content that we had found each other. It happened slowly but continuously. His acne scars, which I loved every one of them, faded. He started to cycle and develop these calves. Wow, those calves. Took a job that required him to haul camera gear everywhere, so he started lifting. His love of photography got him a well-earned tan and the purple hair grew brown and now grey at the temples. He is hands down the hottest guy I know. When he smiles, his whole face changes and everyone melts. Both my female and male friends tell me what a catch he is, and I've gotten my share of dirty looks from cashiers and strangers when he puts his arms around me. The 40-year-old chubby woman that he's loved for decades. He could have had anyone, but I'm so grateful I caught him before the rest of the world knew. Goddamn sweet. Frick if I know. We met on Tinder. She thought I was funny and clever. I'm on the edge of losing her though. I can't beat my alcoholism. But I'm sure trying. She's a rock star. For sure. If you're British and move to America or Canada, you get a +2 to attractiveness. Worked for me moving to the States and my brother moving to Canada. This +2 addition seems to be permanent. We've been married for a year. Weird situation. We seesaw between who is better looking. While she always looks great, I seesaw back and forth. I was a clear-skinned tall and lanky teen, became a bulkier early 20s. Then I developed bad acne and continued to gain weight, becoming overweight. Eventually I started losing weight and bulking up. My skin cleared up and my facial hair came in. And through all that, she stayed with me. We are about to hit 5 years. I cannot express how wonderful she is to me. Throughout all of this, she only gained enough weight that her defined abs have become a not defined flat stomach. We worked together. It was over. For me. The second I met her, I spent months trying to get her attention with usual dumb guy crap. One day she needed a ride home. I was happy to oblige her. That turned into a friendship where we would goof off at work together. And more often I gave her a ride home. One day, I knew it was make or break time. I said I was hungry. She was too. And we stopped at a late night joint for some grub. Her hand was resting on the table, and I reached across for it. We kept talking and holding hands. Talk turned to us being friends or something. So, what does this make us? She asked with nod to our hands. Hopefully something more than friends, I said. That was almost 13 years ago, and she still puts up with my stupid crap. She's drop dead gorgeous, funny, smart and the nicest human being I know. And then there's me. Science has no explanation. That's pretty bold. I guess we both know why she chose you. That was a solid move bro. 10/10. D. Undiagnosed mental illness made him think less of himself and also sabotage his relationships till I came along and was like nope. Now he's much better and we are very happy. Honest truth, if he was like 100% mentally fine I would have never had a chance. Him not bad looking but him def not his level of genetics. Also I think he went undetected so long specifically because of his looks, family and accomplishments. Seriously, when I brought up his abnormal behavior to his mother she was like, oh he's just a big active guy, of course he gets angry. He has a 4.0 at a top level university, there is no way he's suicidal. Look at that 2% body fat, that can't be because of his insane depression that's now morphing into an eating disorder. No Mill, this is not normal and he was not okay. Happy to report 5 years later of intense therapy and a good med regimen he's so much better. Enabling mothers Suwak. Was having a crappy week, found out my soon-to-be wife was cheating on me, packed my crap and left for the next week, was moping and staying inside my apartment after I stopped feeling sorry for myself and felt hungry, decided to treat myself to high-end dinner. So I ordered some ribs and a bottle of wine and contemplated what to do next since I moved to half across a world for her. You can understand my frustration at this point. Suddenly assistant manager approaches me and strikes up a conversation with me. Apparently she knew my ex and was shocked what has happened. Her first response was, what the heck did you do? After I explained the whole situation she apologized for jumping to conclusion. Right there for a split second she had the most evil grin. She gave an wait, she said, I want to have a chat with you. Suddenly there was of influx of customers so I just left without thanking her. Few more days have passed, I felt good enough to go out, decided to go bar hopping clubbing just to get mind off some matters which involved the cheating skank. As I was deciding which club to hit I noticed someone familiar in the distance. The assistant's manager from restaurant going clubbing with her female friends. Decided to go say hi her and buy her round of drinks for the discount she gave me earlier. As I approached I noticed she is incredibly hot, way out of my league. Before I could even say anything she just grabbed my hand, introduced quickly to her friends, and for the rest of evening she showed her undivided attention to me. Didn't really pay much attention cause the amount of guys were hitting on her were absurd. As we were bar hopping every 100 meters or somebody would approach our group, hit on her or her friends. Honestly, it was getting annoying. At this point she was also growing visibly frustrated. So I just grabbed her hand and didn't let her go. She seemed to be pleased. It was getting late. She pretty much asked if I need lift home. I declined, saying was tired and needed some sleep. After a few hours my brain decided to install update, reboot and process the whole information. Facepalmed myself really hardly. After a few more days met her again and asked her out to the movies. She said yes. Now it's been 8 years since we started dating and 6 since we got married. Sometimes I just stare how incredibly well she is aging and get lost in thought when she sees me just staring at her. She jumps and pins me down and releases a fart while I struggle to breathe. She just laughs hysterically, and that's how I know no matter what life throws at us we got weird at the end. But if you're into that dude, we met in a high school class that he was mistakenly put into, and I came to class looking like the performing arts kid I am for dress like a goth day, and I was lucky enough that he was one in a million to find my quirks charming. He stayed in the class to get to know me, and we are 3 years strong now. Pro tip: be as fun as you want and someone will be tricked into thinking it's charming. She's brilliant, neurotic, and demanding. I don't put up with her crap and I can verbally spar at her level. One day she asked me if I found her intimidating. When I said number, I know how to handle you, she practically leapt across the table to kiss me. We've been together ever since. He liked that I was reading when I met him and that I was pretty fluent in comics, graphic novels, and Star Trek. I honestly don't think he has any real idea how hot he is. We balance each other well. I'm driven and tend toward moody broody. He is all easygoing sunshine. He chills me out, and I help him get things done. Our politics match, and we're passionate about them. When we met we were both super early in recovery, so that was an added layer of connection. I honestly thought he was a teenager and couldn't figure out why he was talking to me all the time, but he's only 5 months younger than I am. I surely don't deserve him, but no one else does either, so I'm keeping him. We met. She said you're very handsome. Now we are married. I try not to think about it too much, as I seem to have wandered into some strange alternate reality that will crumble if scrutinized too closely. I've always had issues with depression, anxiety, self-esteem, and being overweight. I wouldn't say I'm ugly, but I rarely feel pretty. My BF is essentially a bodybuilder and he's the sweetest guy I've ever been in a relationship with. He encourages me to do well and takes care of me when I need help. I can't begin to imagine what my life would be like if he weren't in it. We have all the same hobbies. We have skill sets that complement each other's nicely, and he has kinda weird taste. I don't get it, but apparently he's always found me attractive even when I was 325 pounds from a losing streak and a war against bed. So, I guess I lucked out big time. Proud to report I'm down to about half that weight now. Having someone around who doesn't make you feel like you're ugly and it's hopeless helps curb emotional eating a lot. It turns out, he's still very much the hot one though. This is exactly what I'm looking for, someone who's attracted to me the way I am now but will help me better myself. I agree that there would be a lot less need to emotionally eat once you've found your person. Great job on getting healthier. I'm by no means ugly, but I've always been curvy, edging on the side of chubby. I've been between a size 10-12 most of my adult life. My husband is fit, bearded, well dressed, kind and Australian. I married up, especially since having our son. Some health problems and being on meds that left me at a size 16 and the energy level of a sloth. I'm slowly getting back to my pre-baby weight and he remained slim and handsome as frick. I'm just stoked he still finds me sexy cause I see how women look at him. Closed my eyes and asked him out. Turns out he's not just hot, he's a really good guy who cares for others. I fell in love that instant. He's such a goof sometimes but I love him for who he is. Him like a 3 on a good day. She wakes up 8. But we were friends for ages before we went out. We share similar interests but also allow each other space, and we're comfortable with each other when sick and gloomy. The biggest thing is to treat them women with respect. Too much white knighting or chivalry is just as off-putting as too much offense. They're a grown adult. Treat them as such, and just be normal. That already puts you in about top 10% of guys they'll ever talk to. Bro, you need to take out billboards saying your second paragraph there. Guys need to know this. I'm funny, outgoing, and can make her see the face of God with my tongue. That's all I've got. It isn't the looks or the dong size. That's for goddamn sure. Well, my wife is a 10 out of 10. Basically think of a Salma Hayek level of hotness. I was a loser who played video games all day. My sister invited me to a group activity where a bunch of single adults go on a hike. I went on the hike, saw my wife, and turned my life around to impress this girl. Somehow after a few months of getting to know her, I asked her on a date. 4 years later I married to her and life is great. I'm a solid 7 inches a suit on a normal day. I'm about a 6. I saved her from her moment of despair by offering to be her friend and walking barefoot across town to hang out in the middle of a chilly September day. She told me later on that she was planning to commit suicide that night, but didn't get the chance because I spent the whole evening with her. It kinda just went from there. We became friends first, best friends second, and SOS soon after. We'll be celebrating 3 years in November. You're a good person. She's a 12/10. I'm a 6 on a good day. Been together for a year and a half. Saw her in a divorced parents Facebook group. She kinda ignored me. A few months went by, we were suddenly in the same group again. I messaged her asking if she was still talking to the guy I knew she was talking to at the last time we were in the same groups. She was not. We started talking, and now we're here. I'm a woman. I met my husband when we were teens through a homeschool group. In the homeschool group, at his workplace, and wherever else he goes, women just flock to him. It's crazy. When I first saw him, I just stared at him for a second because I couldn't believe my eyes. LOL. I didn't talk to him, though, because I knew he was out of my league. I ended up having to sit next to him because my computer was about to die, and then he started talking to me. We ended up having a lot in common. We both loved fart jokes, music, video games, and Marvel movies. We just hung out as friends until one day he put his arm around me while we were watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and after the movie he asked me to be his girlfriend. I was his first and only girlfriend, and now I am his wife. I don't know how I got to be so lucky. Maybe it's just because we are best friends. Maybe that overrules beauty. I have 200 pounds and almost an entire foot on her. I am a valiant knight. She my lady. This ought to be read in a smarmy voice, because I am actually a huge P and she does kickboxing. So, lady. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Nobody else asks them out because they think they're out of their league. That is all. I entered the club dressed as a vampire cartoon character and had a lisp from the fangs. I took them out and still had a mumbly voice anyway from being an anxious weirdo and having a permanent retainer. We bonded over me making a dumb astronomy joke and being atheists. I converted him into liking Zelda. He genuinely seems to think I'm attractive and has better than average vision. I'm 10 years older than him and was a 7 at best, only with lots of makeup on. And I'm now decaying into my late 30s and disappeared as far as society goes once I hit 35. He has a marble statue body and thick juicy thighs and lifts weights. He thinks this is normal because everyone he knows was or is a swimmer. I can't even float and look like Tina Fey, but I'm a skeleton with a food baby made of chips and obsessed with eating and weird hobbies. I don't know how he's into any of my physical husk things other than maybe darkness and alcohol. I sucked him into my web 5 years ago via my sense of humor. Everyone tells me how hot he is and kind of gives me a WTF look when they first him. I don't know if I like or hate that. Upvote for thick juicy thighs. My fiance cycles a bunch and OMG, his thighs. I'm fairly attractive, but my so is like 100x hotter than me. I play video games though, so he's still into it. Plus my sense of humor is a great personality point, I like to think. Also I enjoy sucking dong. That last one helps a little. He had a terrible divorce, and according to him I had literally everything on his wish list, except for being skinny, but he wasn't going to let that get in the way. I'm not unattractive, but he's a real life detective Elliot Stabler, so it's great that he loves my personality, but I definitely got the better deal. D. Just here to say, yes to Stabler. I've been with a fair amount of guys, but there's one girl never had. She was my best friend BTW, and everyone thought it was weird since she was essentially the hottest girl at my school. After a traumatic event in my life, we actually grew closer. Years later, once I started exploring my sexuality and got my first girlfriend, she actually started acting jealous when she saw us together. I thought nothing of it and continued. My girlfriend broke up with me shortly before she moved away, and I spent a week or two just going through my old motions of finding guys at the bar. I used to fake it at the time, sorry. Then in a moment of weakness while we were both drunk, she kissed me. Here we are now, half a year later. Her mom doesn't know about her romantic situation despite us living together. TLDR. Turns out my girlfriend was gay and was always jealous when I spent time with others, which is why she never dated anyone. How many times did you spend, and what's the conversion rate? We met on Tinder a few months ago. I am not overweight, but I've definitely got a mom bod, stretch marks, the saggy and boobs, and more fat than what I had before kids. At my age, I'm not exactly the ideal woman for guys without kids, which he doesn't have kids. IDK, my face must be alright for him to stick with it. You sound like me, and my guy has the body of a Greek sculpture. He's biking and skiing all the time. I have a mom bod, but muscular, couple extra alb, but not fat. He thinks I am way out of his league. I'm a few years younger, but I feel that he's way out of my league. I just got super lucky. My fiance is not only handsome as frick, but he's also got an amazing personality. He can make friends with almost anybody and never complains. For real, my whole family tells him how handsome he is and charming, hilarious, etc. I guess his main flaw is that he might be too nice sometimes. He was that cute, friendly guy who was known for being funny friendly in high school and was friends with everyone. I don't get how I got so lucky, but I'm so happy. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.